There is a big city that is being attacked by a large wolf ranked S. They asked for help from the Dragon's Fang team to get rid of this wolf because they were living in fear. When the Dragon's Fang team was waiting for the wolf, it came from behind Kor and pushed him away. Then, the team leader Golnov asked Bandana to throw the rope on the wolf and tie it up. Bandana managed to tie the wolf, but it didn't hold for long. The wolf pulled on the rope that Bandana was holding, causing her to crash into the walls and get injured. Then, Marvelous quickly cast a healing spell on Bandana so she could continue fighting. Bandana attacked the wolf again and tied it up well. Golnov ignited his sword and struck the wolf, which led to its defeat, bringing great happiness to the people after the wolf was killed. The Dragon's Fang team moved back to their base to eat. While Golnov was eating, he threw food on the ground and said that no one in this village makes good food. He then asked Kor to prepare some fresh food that he liked. Kor replied, "Okay, I will make you some food." Bandana said, "It's the last day we'll taste Kor's food." Golnov told her, "That means you're kicked out of the team." Kor responded, "I won't do anything wrong." Golnov said, "I know you haven't done anything at all. You can't even kill a very weak monster." Marvelous said to Kor, "You know that any team in the world consists of 4 people, and we want to recruit a mage with special and good abilities." Then Bandana said, "We need to kick someone out of the team, and it's going to be you because you're a burden to the team." Kor asked Golnov to keep him with them, but Golnov kicked him away and knocked him to the ground. After that, Kor moved from the city to another place. He went to Hallowwork to look for work, and when he entered, the employee appeared and asked him if he wanted a job or wanted to hire someone. Kor told her, "I'm looking for a job." She replied, "Then I want to know your name and age as well." He told her, "My name is Kor, and I'm 15 years old." The employee asked Kor if he had done any work before. He replied, "I was part of the Dragon's Fang team, and I did some routine tasks for them, but they kicked me out." The employee was surprised and asked him, "Is this the team that just got promoted recently?" Kor said, "Of course," and he was sad. She told him, "This will make your file good because you worked with that team." Kor thought to himself that people would see him positively because of his previous work with Dragon's Fang. The employee said, "Now we will discover your talents so we can know the hidden talents you have." Kor said, "Okay, let's go." He was excited and then said, "There are many ranks, starting from A and ending with G, where A can split a rock in half and G cannot do that." The employee told Kor that all his results were G, and that he wasn't qualified for anything related to adventurers, which frustrated Kor a lot. The employee said to him, "But don't lose hope. There are some jobs like trade, chemistry, and blacksmithing, but these tests will take another week from now." Kor told her, "I want to tell you that I don't have any money." The employee said to him, "Okay, I understand what you mean." Then asked him if he could carry the bag of sand over there. Kor stood up and tried to lift the bag, but he drained his mana. He managed to carry it, but it was very heavy for him. The employee told him, "This is good," and informed him that he could work in construction and told him about the new job location. He replied happily that he agreed. She said, "Okay, I will bring the letter for you." Kor moved to the new job and met the employer. The employer told Kor after inspecting him, "We are suffering from a labor shortage, so I will tell you your work, but just this once." He told him to make cement and do maintenance on the wall and mentioned that he would return to him in 3 hours, reminding him that he must work well to receive a payment. Kor repaired the walls, which amazed the employer greatly, and he asked Kor, "What did you do?" Kor replied, "I'm sorry, but the cement ran out, and I couldn't finish the rest." The employer asked Kor, "How did you handle the upper parts of these walls?" Kor said, "I gathered the cement and used this stick to pull it." The employer got angry and said, "How did you do that?" Then he asked him, "How long do you want to work here?" Kor said, "I hope to stay here for at least a week." The employer replied, "Okay, this work is enough for today," and handed him the money, telling him it was all he had for today, and he would transfer the rest of the salary to Hallowwork. Kor asked the employer, "Are you sure about the amount of money?" The employer affirmed it. Kor thought to himself, "If there is leftover money, I think I did a good job," and said he would put in his effort tomorrow. Kor fixed a large part of the wall. Then the employer told him, "We don't need you anymore after today." Kor replied, "But it hasn't even been 3 days with you." The employer said to him, "You haven't left any work for the poor who work with you, and you will complete the work by yourself, leaving nothing for them. You're really too fast," and told him that his rank could be SS and that he should work in the kingdom, not in this place, and he handed him the rest of his salary. Kor said to himself in shock that the boss had forced him to pay him money to be able to fire him from work. We moved to Hallwork, where the employee told Kor that this work didn't succeed with him. But what are we going to do with just 3 days left until the other job tests? A woman appeared, screaming as she searched for one of the workers in Hallwork. The employee approached this woman and asked her what she wanted. The woman told her, "I want a worker in a mine, but if nothing is found in the mine, he won't receive any payment." The employee replied that this isn't correct. The worker must receive payment for doing the job. Kor approached the woman and told her that he wanted this job and that he had worked in the mines in his village. The employee then told Kor that it was possible for him to receive payment, or maybe not, and it's very likely that he wouldn't. The woman said to the employee that she wanted someone muscular and a bit short and didn't want a young guy like this. The employee told the woman that she would have to pay 10 silver coins. The woman replied that she would settle for this man and asked him to follow her. Kor went after the woman outside. The employee gave the employee Kirchel a set of work orders for Kor. Kirchel said she already knew Kor, and when she looked at him, she was stunned by the amount of money. which caused her to fall to the ground. Another employee approached to check on her, and then Kerchel asked her, "Who put the bags of sand here?" The employee explained that these weren't sandbags. They were used to measure the amount of mana in anyone's body, and it gets heavier as the mana increases. It doesn't work on ordinary people, and those who use it must possess great strength, like a royal court magician, so it's difficult to use. Kerchel picked it up and managed it easily. Then she remembered Cora and said, "So who are you, Cora, to possess all this strength?" We shift to Cora, who is heading to the mine with the woman. They arrived at the place belonging to the woman Ulisha, and she told him that this was the place. Cora said to her, "There's only one tent." Ulisha replied that she needs two because it's large. Cora said, "I can't sleep next to a lovely woman like you." Ulisha got angry with him and told him not to say such strange things and then gave him food. He told her she was the one who cooked and explained that no one had cooked for him in a long time. Then they went to sleep, but Cora couldn't sleep in the tent and went to sleep outside. When Ulisha woke up, she found her coat fixed and asked Cora, "Did you do that?" He replied, "Yes, I did." Ulisha told him that when he was ready, to let her know so they could start moving, and told him they needed 10 gold coins before the end of the week. Cora asked her, "Okay, but where will we start digging?" She told him she didn't know a specific place, but they would dig from somewhere nearby. Cora replied, "We shouldn't dig randomly because if we do, we won't find anything." Then he asked her to follow him because he had experience in this. They moved to another place to dig, and Cora started digging. He found a round stone and told her this was what he was looking for. He told her that when he split it in half, he found blue stones inside and told her these stones could be sold for 3 gold pieces each. Ulisha said they had achieved a third of what they wanted from gold pieces. Cora collected many blue stones and told Ulisha that it was done. She asked him, "So should we sell them after that?" He told her, "No, we can't do that." She said she knew he had found them by himself. He replied, "I don't mean that, but they need to be turned into crystals." She mentioned she heard that only 10 blacksmiths in the kingdom could make these crystals. Cora made a crystal at an incredible speed, astonishing Ulisha, who said she thought each one took an hour to produce. Cora told her he didn't have that much mana, he couldn't do it. Then they moved to the tent, where Ulisha gathered her things and asked Cora if he would stay there. "Are you sure?" Cora told her he had many things to do. Ulisha replied that she would come back the next morning when she sold these crystals. Then she left. We moved to the guild, where Ulisha went to sell the crystals. The guard asked Ulisha if she had any documents confirming these crystals came from abroad. She told him they were local. He said to her then, they were made in a workshop. Ulisha showed the guard a necklace, which scared him, and he told her she worked with the king. Ulisha told him she wanted to use the teleportation stone to move to the kingdom. Then she activated the stone and moved to the kingdom, where she went to another place to sell the crystal she had with her. Ulisha told the employee that she wanted to sell this crystal and was informed it was only worth 10 silver pieces. She thought that. The employee replied that it could be that, but wait a minute. Then she went and came back, telling her she would buy it for 10 gold pieces, which greatly astonished Ulisha, and she asked, "How is that possible?" The employee explained that this crystal had a large amount of mana, and it prevented mana leakage. Ulisha told the employee she had 49 other crystals. The employee replied that was 500 pieces of gold. However, I want to ask you for 2 things. First, don't sell these crystals to anyone else because our kingdom doesn't allow easy trade of these crystals, and I believe no one recognizes the power of these crystals but us. Secondly, who made them? Ulisha replied, "I can't tell you." The employee asked why not and told her that whoever made these crystals needed to serve the kingdom as they are very useful, or were you trying to monopolize the crystals for yourself for high profit? Ulisha replied that was not the reason, but she didn't want to share information about him without his knowledge. The employee stated that was up to her since she was a royal court sorceress and held a high position in the kingdom. Ulisha replied that she no longer worked for the kingdom and wasn't obligated to obey her commands. The employee remarked that it seemed she was not having any trouble benefiting from her old position. Then she told her she would speak to her as a friend and asked her to prevent the crystal maker from wandering in any other city but theirs, and inform him that they might offer him a position as the Royal Magic Lab manager, and perhaps he could be an honorary count, pending the right permission from the kingdom's leader. Ulisha left the guild and said she had paid 500 gold pieces and wanted to appoint Cora as the lab manager. Then she moved to hall work at Kerchil's, and the two of them told each other that they wanted to know something. Then Ulisha asked Kerchil who Cora was. Kerchil replied that she could not disclose her client's secrets, but Ulisha showed her the royal necklace, after which Ulisha read Cora's file, stating he was a member of the Dragon Tribe team. Kerchil mentioned he had gone to work in construction but didn't stay long, only 3 days, yet his pay was considerable, leaving Yulisha curious. Then Kirschel told her he repaired all the fences by himself in a very short period. Yulisha said it was normal for him to get fired then. She asked Kirschel to deposit this money into Corey's account and reminded her not to tell anyone any information about Corey. Yulisha then visited Corey, astonished to find that he had built a house for them, and asked, "What is this?" Corey told her he built it while she was away in the country. Yulisha asked Corey what he thought about building a complete house in one night. He replied that people used to do that all the time, and he thought it wasn't a bad thing. The Dragon's Fang team went on an adventure in the forest and encountered a huge monster, which resulted in Gulnov getting injured in his head. Gulnov asked Marvelous to heal him quickly. Marvelous told him, "I'm trying, but my power isn't as strong as usual." After that, the monster aimed to strike at Gulnov, but he blocked it and asked the new adventurer, "Can you use fire?" The new adventurer said to Gulnov, "You told me that you can use it." Pandana said to herself, "I think this party is over." We moved to Crow's house with Yulisha. Crow was surprised because they wanted him to be the manager of the research lab and would become one of the nobles. Yulisha told him, "Of course that's possible." He asked her, "How did that happen?" Yulisha said that the person she asked to evaluate the crystals works as a magician in the royal court as a hobby. Crow asked Yulisha, "Are you sure about this and that your friend isn't deceiving you?" Yulisha told him, "I know it's hard to believe, but what do you think?" Crow said to her, "Please refuse this matter, and I know it's good." He said to himself, "I can't work in a position that puts me above others, and on the other hand, they want me to return to Dragon's Fang." He told Yulisha, "My job now is just working here, nothing more," which surprised Yulisha. Crow asked Yulisha, "Did the crystals you sold cover your debt?" Yulisha said, "Of course they did, and I sold them for a suitable amount." She told him she didn't make them herself and that she took a gold coin as a brokerage fee and deposited the rest in his account. Crow told her, "Don't worry about me too much." Yulisha said to him, "Of course I'll worry," and said to herself, "If I took this money alone, guilt would crush me." After that, she told him to continue mining. Crow told her that he's already doing that and found a good vein yesterday. Yulisha said to Crow, "You're a great help, but you haven't taken any nap at all." Crow told her, "I rested for 6 hours only." Yulisha told him, "You built the house and chopped wood," which surprised Yulisha. Crow said to himself, "I used to sleep with Dragon's Fang for only 4 hours, and they told me that the person responsible for routine work is the last one to go to sleep and the first to wake up." He told her, "I apologize for sleeping too much." They moved to the place where the new crystals are. Yulisha asked, "Are you sure about this place?" She told him she doesn't see anything unusual. Crow told her, "Look at the mountain terrain. There are ore deposits below this place," and told her not to dig deeper than 50 meters. He also told her that he will go. Yulisha asked Crow, "Won't you dig with me?" He told her, "I'll dig in the place where we found the crystals yesterday." Yulisha said, "Then I'll leave that to you." After that, Crow bid her farewell. After that, Yulisha succeeded in finding a gemstone called topaz and said it could be exchanged for 3 gold coins. "Now I'll ask Crow to turn it into a magic crystal for free. Then I'll have enough to achieve my goal." After that, she said to herself, "I shouldn't exploit this boy again," and went to him, asking herself, "What is he doing now?" Based on her experience with him, she thought, "I think he made a mining tunnel." When she arrived there, she was very surprised by this tunnel and said, "I don't think it would be this size." Then Crow came to her and told her that he was going to come to her. Yulisha asked Crow, "What are the results of your search here?" He told her that he didn't find anything important in this place except for some ore fragments that have no value, and he threw them in the stone box. Yulisha said, "What are these stones? I think they're beautiful and strange." Crow told her that these are called myrtle, and he can extract a lot of them, which greatly surprised Yulisha. Crow asked Yulisha, "Do you know them?" He told her that in his village, they throw a lot of them away because they are useless. Yulisha, upset, said, "This myrtle is more valuable than gold and platinum, and you're getting rid of it?" Crow said, "You're saying this stone is important," and asked her if it's difficult to obtain in her city. Yulisha asked Crow, "So what ore are you looking for?" Crow told her, "I'm looking for orichalcum." Yulisha said, "I don't think this type exists in these mountains." Crow said, "It can be mined anywhere," and told her it's possible to get it after digging 7 kilometers into the earth. Yulisha asked Crow, "Did you dig 7 kilometers into the earth?" Crow told her, "Indeed." Yulisha said, "That's what I'm talking about," and asked him about the column. Crow told her that he filled it because it's dangerous to leave it. Yulisha said, "You also filled the column within 8 hours. Nothing surprises me anymore." After that, Yulisha looked at the end of the tunnel and said to him, "You dug in front of the mountain," and told him, "I think this tunnel is very suitable for us." Crow asked, "Should I refill this one too?" She told him, "It's not important." They moved to the city of Samila, and he said that the tunnel he dug would connect the city of Samila and Prince Tycoon's city. Yulisha allowed those who have traveling trade to pass through it in exchange for maintenance fees because this profit would cover her taxes. After that, Pandana came to Crow and greeted him. Crow Crow approached her and asked her, "What are you doing here? Is Gulnov with you?" Pandana told him, "No, I'm no longer in the Dragon's Fang team," and told him about many things that happened. She told him that Gulnov smashed a restaurant where he was eating. After that, she went to him and asked him about the taste of food in this popular restaurant. Gulnov told her angrily, "We still have the smoked meat that Crow made. Go and bring it." Pandana said, "Nothing is left of it," and told him that he ate it all. Gulnov pointed his sword at her and asked her to go and bring Crow to prepare some smoked meat for him, and if he refused, to hurt him to make him come with her. Pandana said, "Okay, leave it to me," and snatched the transfer crystal from him and told him that she would use it. She moved quickly and met some guards and said, "I think he will be arrested because of what he did. I think Marvelous is lucky because she was summoned through the church. I think now Dragon's Fang team is finished." She said she was kicked out and, "I don't want my surveillance target to get involved in this problem too." Crow told her, "I can't believe you were kicked out, and it's impossible for me to return to this team again." Pandana asked Crow, "Why are you so insistent on this team only?" Crow told her, "Because I owe Gulnov many things and respect him." Pandana asked Crow, "Since you're going to Halo work, are you looking for a job?" Crow told her, "Of course." Pandana said, "Then I know someone who needs workers and is struggling in his workshop," and asked him if he could go and help them. She told him about the existence of only 15 craftsmen who have official authorization from the state, and these people are in trouble. "If you go to them, it will be a great help from you." Crow asked Pandana, "Do you think I'll be useful to them?" Pandana told him, "Trust yourself. I trust you a lot." Crow told her, "Then I'm ready." She gave him the map and asked him to take care of himself, and Crow went quickly to help people. Pandana said, "When you're an apprentice to a great sage, it's not an easy task." We moved to Crow on his way to the craftsman's workshop, and he said that these workshops manufacture magic swords and have a chief craftsman who has an official permit in the name of the craftsman's teacher and has the right to develop and distribute. When he arrived there, he knocked on the door for them to open it for him. When a girl opened it for him, he was very surprised, and the girl said to Crow, "I'm from Alf. Don't you know Alf?" Crow said, "Of course I know him," and introduced himself and asked her, "Are you one of the craftsmen here?" The girl told him, "No, I'm the assistant of the craftsman's teacher, and my name is Michelle." Crow told her that he came at Pandana's request, which made Michelle happy, and she said, "Someone has come to help us," and let him into the workshop. She took him to the kitchen and told him that she wanted his help in cleaning because she's bad at it, and she also told him that she would go to help Mr. Michelle. After that, Crow put on cleaning clothes and cleaned everything completely. After he finished, he said, "What do I do next?" and went in the direction that Michelle went. He went to a room to look for Michelle, but he knocked on it, then entered and met a girl who has a curse. He asked her if he could touch this curse, and when he touched it, he said that she no longer feels anything and thought that the curse is eating her whole body. He told her that he would go to prepare some food for her because she needs it and returned to the kitchen, thinking only about the curse, which caused him to fall to the ground. We move to Yulisha as she tries to sell the Myrtle to Mimko and asks her about their price. Mimko told her, 50 gold coins. Yulisha said to Mimko, "What do you think will happen when news of him spreads?" Mimko said, "I think he will be kidnapped if he's lucky, and if not, he will be assassinated. I don't know how this monster boy managed to stay hidden all this time." Yulisha said, "I learned that he was expelled from the Dragon's Fang team." Mimko said, "I think the head of this team is wanted for justice. So what do you intend to do with this boy?" Yulisha said, "I want to make him a craftsman's teacher, and I need to set a goal for him. This is much better than appearing in more than one place, and after that, I'll make him employ me as his personal guard. But how do I convince him of all that? He doesn't know his true abilities and underestimates himself a lot, and it will be a difficult task." We moved to Crow after he cooked, and Michelle and Ophelia came to him. Crow apologized to Ophelia because he used her kitchen without her permission. Ophelia told him, "I don't mind," and asked him, "What are you cooking?" He told her, "Porridge, and I cooked it for the girl in the adjacent room because she's hungry." Ophelia asked him, "Did you meet this girl?" He told her, "Of course. Is that a problem?" Ophelia told him, "Of course it's a problem, and I beg you not to talk about this girl with anyone you know," and asked him to promise her that. He said, "Okay," and asked her, "Do you want me to do something else?" She told him, "No, this is enough for today," and gave him an amount and asked him, "Can you come tomorrow at the same time?" Crow told her, "Okay." After Crow left, Ophelia said, "I can't believe I allowed her to communicate with a stranger, even if I'm doing it to slow down the reaction of this curse. I need to focus a lot." Ophelia moved to the cursed girl's room and told her, "You mustn't open the curtains so no one can see you." She added, "Come here so I can adjust your loose clothes." Then she said, "Wait until I taste the food." The cursed girl replied, "There's no need for that, and I believe it was that man who made it. Isn't that right?" Ophelia asked. "You met him, didn't you?" The cursed girl answered, "I think he's a good man, and my intuition tells me so. Besides, my body is a wreck, as you can see, and there's no need to use poison to kill me at this point. I don't know who cast this curse on me, which is why I've suspected everyone all my life, but today, I want to trust someone. Ophelia said, "All right, taste it at your leisure." The girl moved toward the food and remarked, "It smells good and has lots of herbs." She began eating and expressed her admiration for it. Suddenly, the girl collapsed to the floor in severe pain. Ophelia said, "I was wrong, I should have tasted it first," and she almost went to fetch an antidote, but the girl stopped her and assured Ophelia that she was fine, explaining that the curse had vanished and she was cured. This left Ophelia astonished. How did that happen? She wondered. It's a strong curse and usually takes a long time to leave the body. Next, we move to two individuals responsible for placing the curse on a girl named Lisa. A soldier apologized to his superior and told him that he would cast another curse on her. Then we moved to Ophelia and Lisa when they went to Mimeko and Yolisha. Ophelia said to Mimeko, "I came here to discuss an important matter." Mimeko replied, "Yolisha, you can trust her, don't worry, and if it's about any incidents, you can share them with her." Ophelia introduced herself to Yolisha and explained that she was with Princess Lisa. When Yolisha and Mimeko saw her, they showed her respect. Ophelia explained that the princess had been under the influence of a powerful curse because someone had attempted to assassinate her after all. She is the only child born of His Majesty, the King and Princess Franco of the North, whom the king married. She informed them that her very existence is a symbol of peace among them. Yolisha then said, "So this curse is due to the breakdown of relations between all of us." Ophelia replied, "Of course, and after our war against the northern countries, someone wants to spark a new conflict." Mimeko embraced the princess and told her he was glad she was safe now, adding, "You came here to find out who cursed you." Lisa said, "I relied on your strength now." Mimeko then told her, "I am at your service. Just as I used to serve the king and queen, I will also serve you." He then asked, "It was a strong curse, wasn't it? But how did you break it?" Lisa replied, "Of course, but it was broken thanks to a man named Crow," which left Mimeko and Yolisha astonished. Yolisha felt shocked when she learned that Crow was the one who healed the princess. She asked, "What did you do when you left in the middle of the day, Crow?" Mimeko said that the one who devised this curse on the princess is someone connected to a curse user and capable of manipulating things within the royal palace. There are only 3 people who could do that. First, Tristan Minolf, who is the bishop of the Bolin Church. The second is Senova Ristkans, the first general of the Royal Scouts. And the third is Isadora Arkamama, the third wife of His Majesty the King. Ophelia said that Tristan can use his followers to manipulate the guards on Liz's room. Princess Lisa mentioned that her father's wife can move freely in the palace, so she can manipulate things too. However, it's not impossible for Senova as well. Yolisha disagreed, saying he has connections with a thieves' guild, and they are experts in gathering information. They probably have some men inside the palace too as followers. Ophelia pointed out that it's difficult to determine who the culprit is at this time, and told them they would need to set a trap. She informed them that Lisa had celebrated her 15th birthday and became an adult just a few days ago, and tradition now demands she leave the palace for training for a year. That's why they will create a workshop for artists. This workshop will not exist publicly and will be run by a fake artist teacher, letting Lisa train there. The criminal will then start to gather information about this workshop and the fake artist teacher. Mimeko remarked that if this teacher existed, they'd have gathered information quickly. However, if he doesn't exist, there's nothing to gather. The more they try, the more they learn about the culprit. Ophelia said they have to create some achievements to be recognized as artist teachers. Yolisha said she has the perfect thing for this and showed her special crystal. Ophelia asked, "Is this a magic crystal?" She then asked Yolisha where she got this crystal from. Yolisha replied that Crow made it, which surprised the princess and Ophelia. We shift to Crow, who is in front of Ophelia's house, but it's closed. Then Michelle came to him and he asked her, "Why is the house closed?" Michelle replied to Crow, "After I left yesterday, my teacher went out with the princess, and there is nothing for us to do today. I'm sorry." Crow said, "All right, I understand," and left. He thought to himself, "I hope I didn't do anything wrong," and he realized he should go eat now. After that, he went to a restaurant, and while enjoying his food, he heard a group of adventurers talking about their bearer being injured, and that they have a new mission they shouldn't reject. They need a bearer now, but quickly. Crow approached them and said he could be their bearer, although he doesn't know how to fight at all like the adventurers. The girl scolded him, but the team leader hit her and apologized to Crow, explaining that she was right. They need a strong bearer because they are hunting iron goblins, which weigh about 200 kilos, and the bearer must be specialized in this. Crow replied, "If this job suits me, then I can lift you. You all must weigh 200 kilos. He lifted the first one easily, then lifted the second one with ease as well, and shook hands with Cans. Cans said to Crow, Crow. In truth, we have our own bearer, named Bibino, but he's sick and will take a week to heal. Crow said, I'm called Crow, and thank you for hiring someone ordinary like me, which made them laugh a lot. Cans approached Crow and said, we are counting on you, Crow. Crow thought to himself that they are really nice and he should work hard so he doesn't cause them trouble. They moved to a tunnel where a monster was present, but Crow got hit by slime and tried to get it off his foot, but couldn't. Sienna told him to stab it until he killed it. Crow made an attempt to stab the slime but failed, injuring himself instead. Sienna approached him and got rid of the slime, and Crow thanked her. Sienna told him, I know you're weak in combat, but this is really bad. Danzu reassured him, don't worry about fighting, Crow. We will protect you, Cans told Crow. You just have to carry things, and you'll be safe until this job ends, which surprised Crow with their kindness towards him. He remembered how his previous team treated him, and they didn't resemble each other at all, making him cry. Sienna asked Crow, are you hurt and can't walk? He replied, no, I'm fine. After that, they entered the tunnel, and Sienna said to Crow she would light the place using glowing algae. Once the area was lit, Crow looked next to him and asked, what is this? Sienna told him, it's goblin waste. Crow asked if there are goblins here, and Cans confirmed, of course, but don't worry, we can defeat them easily. However, if we are attacked by a large group, we will flee immediately. They continued walking inside the tunnel, and Crow approached the walls, asking if this is an exit. After that, they encountered a goblin, but Sienna threw a knife at it, and Danzu dealt a fatal blow, killing it. Cans asked, was it calling its other friends? Danzu replied, I can hear their voices. They're everywhere, even by the tunnel exit. Sienna asked, what should we do? We need to find an exit. Crow told them, this is a secret exit, and opened a door in the wall. After that, Sienna and Crow entered, and Sienna closed the door. Crow asked her, why did you do that? Danzu and Cans are still outside. She replied, I know, but we need to escape. Crow said, but we need to fight with them. Sienna called him dumb, stating, you can't even kill a small slime, and you would hinder them if you went. This surprised Crow, and he thought to himself that Sienna wanted to fight much more than he did. Cans told them, don't argue, and asked Crow to protect Sienna too. Then asked Danzu, do you feel regret? Danzu responded, not at all, and the question turned back to Cans. Cans replied, never, and dying to protect my little sister is the greatest honor for me. Danzu added, dying would make me proud and wouldn't bring shame to you. Cans asked, how could you regret it when I'm still your friend? Crow thought they were really kind and loved each other and wanted to protect him, but he couldn't help them. Sienna said, I know that my brother and Danzu will win, and she asked Crow to move. She lit up the area, but then a huge monster appeared, a metal dragon, making Sienna feel a sense of despair. We shift to Ulisha and Lisa. Lisa said, is this the loom Crow will talk about? Ulisha replied, you must always remember that we're hiding from Crow that you're a princess. The princess said, the most important thing is that I'm just an ordinary girl in front of Crow named Lisa, and asked Ulisha to call her Lisa too and to abandon the formal titles. Ulisha agreed, of course we should do that, and also informed her that she can call her Yuli. They moved to Crow's room to search for him, and one of Crow's friends told them he went to a tunnel of iron goblins with his new team. Ulisha explained, that could be a trap, but if Crow really goes to that area, it's a big danger for him because they finished their training there due to the iron goblins spread. She asked Lisa to stay here while she goes to find him. Lisa insisted, I'm going with you. Ulisha said, don't be foolish. Lisa responded, what about you? How can you think of leaving someone unprotected? She added, as a member of the royal family, I've learned some magic. I can defend myself with it, and I won't hinder your path. Ulisha replied, all right, but promise me you won't stray too far from me, and they both went. We moved to the tunnel, and Ulisha said that these glowing algae are new. Lisa said that she sees traces of Crow and believes he went this way. Ulisha asked Lisa how she could recognize him from his footprints. Lisa then used her magic to reveal more footprints. Ulisha said, that's good, it'll help you hear his voice and find him right away. Lisa began to approach the walls and said that Crow moved from this direction. When she got to the closest spot, she told Ulisha that there are warriors fighting inside. Ulisha approached Lisa and asked her to stay here so she wouldn't get hurt. Lisa boosted Ulisha's physical strength, and Ulisha moved forward to help Danzo and Canis, striking the goblins, which led to the defeat of many of them. We switched to Crow, and Sienna said this is impossible, and that he should give up this mission so no one would die. Crow told her he was sorry for dragging her into this job, and informed her they couldn't pass through here, and that the dragons were here to prevent them. She said her brother and Danzo tried to buy them some time to escape, but they couldn't escape at all, and she was crying. Crow approached Sienna and told her not to worry, assuring her that they would escape. He He showed her his weapon and said he would take care of those dragons first. Crow approached the dragons, and the first dragon attacked him, but he dodged the blow. Crow struck back, landing several hits, which defeated all of them, leaving Sienna quite astonished. After he finished off the dragons, Crow told her he was used to mining iron goblins. Then Elisha came in and asked what happened here. Sienna replied that he destroyed them all by himself with one hit from his weapon, and that he was used to mining. Elisha asked Crow if he was okay. He told her he was fine, but he asked her to save Danzo and Canis because they were in a fierce battle. Elisha said they were okay and alive. He replied that was very good. Elisha thought to herself that she had heard legends about a man with a G rank in combat skills, but who had an S rank talent in harvesting with a scythe to defeat a briller dragon. But could that also be possible? Lisa appeared and said to Crow, "You are very impressive." Canis said, "Bring us our other party member. It's important, but we haven't heard about a horde of goblins who fled from training." He told Elisha he didn't know how to respond nicely. Danzo added, "We really owe you a lot." Elisha said, "You don't have to, and I told Crow they would establish a workshop for artists soon, and I would work there as an adventurer and a main character." She asked him if he would come work with her there. She told him she heard he did a fantastic job at Ophelia's place. Crow replied that he was currently working with Salcora. Canis told Crow that this offer was not to be refused, and that he should take advantage of it well and not worry about them. Elisha said they were starting this workshop, which was very new and lacked workforce. She asked if he could hire some adventurers. "What do you say about joining us?" Canis asked if that was possible, and Salcora's team agreed. Elisha told Crow, "When we return to the country, you must take a talent test to learn what your talent is when you start working in the workshop." Crow thought to himself that he wanted that so much, especially when the artist arrives anyway. He said, "Okay," and we moved to Mimko's place. Mimko welcomed Crow and introduced herself as the one responsible for evaluating his talent. She knew he came recommended by Ophelia, and told him she saw his magical crystal, but she wanted to see him in person. After that, we shift to the tavern where they are celebrating together. Then we switch back to Elisha and Mimko. Elisha asked Mimko, "What about Crow's talent?" Mimko told her she informed him that he had a rank B in cleaning and a rank C in everything else. Elisha asked Mimko what the actual results were. Mimko replied that Halo Work is the only one capable of measuring talents between rank G and rank SS, and told her that his strength was very great and she couldn't measure it. Mimko said they were lucky because she was the one evaluating talents. If the matter spread, who knows what would happen. After that, a maid named Kreshel came to them, feeling shocked. Mimko approached her and said she was happy because Crow's talents were of rank SS. Elisha said to Kreshel, "If anyone finds out about this, it would be very dangerous." Kreshel replied that she hadn't heard anything at all. They went to the new workshop location where they would be working by the fast cart. Lisa asked if there were any instant travel stones in the city we were heading to. Elisha replied that there were some, but they were at a military base on the border of the Demon Lands. Lisa mentioned that although the new vice king had not yet been appointed, it was a crucial city that received no assistance from the Alliance. Danzo said they would be the special party for a new artisan in this critical city. Cans replied that it was more than they deserved. Elisha stated that the decision was made with complete consideration of their abilities. Cans asked Danzo about Pipinoki. Danzo told him to leave it to him. After that, Sona thought to herself that her brother and Danzo agreed immediately. She also mentioned they had appointed them to silence them, but she would be her brother's and Danzo's protector if anything happened to them. Later, Cans asked Elisha about the master of the artisan craftsman. Elisha said he was an extremely respectable man. Then they moved to the city, and Crew was surprised by its appearance. Lisa asked Crew what was wrong. Crew said he had worked on the walls of this city before but was fired after 3 days. After that, they moved to the workshop location where Elisha told them this was the land that would be their training place. Cans commented that it was just an empty land and asked what they were supposed to do there. Elisha said they would wait at the inn until the artist workshop was completed. Elisha asked Crew if he could build the workshop by himself, which surprised the others. Crew responded that he could build a wooden house alone, but building a workshop for an artist in a single day was unreasonable. Cans agreed, and Sona thought that Crew trying to do everything alone was tough. Danzo said achieving this in one day was impossible. Crew told them that he believed he could do it in just 3 days. This astonished them, and Elisha told Crew to take as much time as he needed and build it his way, even if it took 3 days. She added that if he needed any materials, he shouldn't hesitate to ask. Crew mentioned needing this, and he wrote down all the things he needed on a piece of paper, which he gave to Elisha, requesting that she bring these materials. He told her that if she prepared these items, he would be very grateful. Elisha read through the materials and told him she would have them ready in just 2 days. days. Sona thought to herself about whether he really needed these things. Then Yulisha asked everyone to head to the inn so they wouldn't hinder Crew from building the workshop. She told Crew to make sure to come to the inn for meals and rest. Crew replied that he would, and informed her he would come morning and night. Lisa advised Crew to eat well. He thanked her for her concern. Then they moved inside the inn, where Yulisha gathered them. Sona asked if she would tell them what happened, right? Cans asked what happened. Sona explained that Crew had single-handedly defeated the Iron Dragon and was cutting it down as if he were used to it, with just one knife, and without any difficulty. Sona then asked Yulisha who Crew was, and who they were as well. Yulisha began with herself, saying she was an adventurer working under the royal family. She then asked Lisa to introduce herself. Lisa introduced herself and showed them her royal crest, proving she was a princess, which astonished the others. They nearly bowed to her, but Lisa requested they sit and told them she was hiding her identity for certain reasons, asking them to treat her as they did when they first met her. Sona asked if Crew was from the royal family too. Yulisha replied that he was not even a noble, and they still hadn't discovered the origins of this boy. Sona questioned how they didn't know who he was yet. Yulisha explained that they only knew that all of Crew's combat abilities were of rank G, while other abilities were of rank SSS. Cans inquired if SS was the rank people doubted existed. Yulisha told them that Crew was very unaware of his own power, and they hid his true rank from him, telling him he was either rank B or C. To be honest, the new master artisan was actually Crew himself, but that was also a secret among them. Sona, annoyed, asked why they were hiding this from him. She insisted they should tell Crew everything. Yulisha explained that if they told Crew the truth, he wouldn't believe them, and who knows what kind of villains would plan to misuse Crew's power and exploit it if they revealed the truth. Sona argued that they were the ones exploiting him now. Cans asked Sona to calm down. Sona told her brother she didn't want to hear more of this talk because it was too much, but Cans hugged his sister to calm her down. Danzo asked Yulisha to continue. Lisa mentioned that Crew had broken the curse placed on the handmade potion. Yulisha said someone wanted to kill Lisa, and the reason behind building this workshop in this city was to reveal who their enemy was and identify him. Sona asked if Crew knew about this. Lisa replied that he knew nothing. He didn't even know who she was, and when he learned that she was under a curse, he saved her without asking for anything in return. Yulisha said Crew was very pure, and the others had a significant effect on his character, which made him a good boy, so she wanted to protect him. Lisa also requested that they maintain this secret and protect Crew with her, not as a princess but as Lisa, their friend. Danzo said it was the knight's duty to obey the royal family, but they were adventurers and had none of these obligations. Yet they were also comrades and risked their lives with Crew, calling him their friend. Cons agreed that they were indeed friends and must protect Crew. Danzo declared that since he was Crew's friend, he would swear on his weapon to protect both of them. Lisa thanked them. Sona asked Danzo and her brother how they were doing this after knowing Crew only for 3 days and not knowing anything about him. Yulisha said she understood what Sona was feeling. Sona asked Yulisha how she could understand. Yulisha replied that she went through it because she met him just 6 days ago, which surprised the others. Sona decided to think it over and walked away. Cans told Yulisha not to worry about Sona. She would be fine. After that, Sona went alone, thinking to herself how this was happening, and Crew needed to know everything. Later, she approached Crew and was very surprised when she saw him still working on the workshop. Sona asked Crew if he had dug this. He replied that he was indeed from the B rank in mining. Sona thought to herself that even those of rank B couldn't do that, and told Crew he was amazing. He told her it was normal to build several houses in a day in his hometown, so he felt he was still slow. Sona asked Crew if he felt pressured by the heavy workload. He replied that no one forced him into anything, and he was happy to do it. He shared that his old party told him he was useless and kicked him out, but now he felt happy being someone useful and able to prove that to himself. Sona remembered Yulisha's words about Crew and said she understood now. Meanwhile, we moved to Danzo in the informant meeting where she shared some intel. She mentioned that she collected a lot of information about Pipinoki, known as the Thousand Faces, who takes jobs from evildoers and sneaks into adventurer parties. She scolded him for destroying countless parties and accepted the last mission with the intention of destroying Sakura. She suspected he was sent by another party that harbored resentment towards them for taking their jobs lately. She told him that the rest of the details were on the paper he had. Danzo acknowledged he understood everything and owed her, giving her some money. Now, we shift to the tavern where Pipinoki was. He wanted a girl to stay with him, but she left. He thought to himself that he didn't expect the survival of the Sakura party, those However, now he heard they were employed in a new workshop related to the third princess, and if he crushed them, he would earn a lot of money. Danzo told him it was indeed a good idea to make money. Pipinoki replied, of course, and he could find many clients who wanted to defame the third princess's achievements. But Pipinoki stopped talking and was startled when he heard Danzo speaking to him. He turned around, Surprised, Danzo asked Pippinoki if he was drinking a lot to celebrate his recovery. Afterward, Pippinoki fled the tavern, but as he tried to escape, he was obstructed and fell to the ground through a trap set by Danzo. Then Danzo approached Pippinoki and told him he was smart. Therefore, he couldn't be unaware of the massive goblin colony. Pippinoki pleaded with Danzo to forgive him, claiming they were friends in the same party and that he didn't know anything. But Danzo drew his sword, placing it at Pippinoki's neck, telling him he was never his friend. He warned him if he got close to the people he trusted, who were his friends now, he would kill him without hesitation. He then walked away, leaving him alone without any harm. However, the informant was watching them while hidden, so no one could see her. She mentioned wanting Danzo to finish off his target because he could become an obstacle in the future. Later, two men approached Pippinoki and took him away. The informant stated these two were from the Phantom Intelligence Unit belonging to Mimiko, the royal court sorceress. Afterward, the informant received a message clipped to the leg of a bird, mentioning Marlefs. She felt bad for them, but said that since her master had ordered her to leave that woman to her own devices, she thought she should now head back to Crew's hometown. They moved to Crones and Danzo, who were looking at the new workshop built by Crew, while Cinna was on the other side and told Yulisha about the presence of a papamomo tree. Yulisha said they would have good kinds of fruits if it bore fruit, but it hadn't yet. Then Liza ran around and said, "From today, this will be our love place, me and Crew." Yulisha pointed out that it was the new workshop. After that, Crew came out of the workshop and apologized for not preparing a welcome for them. Yulisha said they weren't ready either and asked if they could see inside. He said of course, and then they went inside. Crew explained to them the entrances to the palace and everything in it, which amazed them. Yulisha asked Crew, "What is this device?" He replied that he had turned the blue sapphire he came with into magical crystals and used them to create a perpetual water motion engine to generate water, which left everyone even more amazed. After that, he took them to the bedrooms and told them it was designated for all of them. Liza lay down on the bed and said it smelled like Crew. Crew told Liza that she was exaggerating her joke. Yulisha said it was the smell of the griffin. Then they moved to the craftsman's room, and Crew asked Yulisha when they would meet the craftsman. Yulisha said it seemed he was very late and thought he was busy. Then Yulisha asked Crew, "Which is your room?" Crew replied that he was only responsible for household chores, so he would sleep in a small area next to the kitchen, which made everyone angry about that. However, Yulisha asked him to sleep here in the master craftsman's room until he arrives. Crew strongly refused, but then told them he agreed. However, he would leave after the craftsman's arrival. Yulisha asked Crew if he could place a curse barrier around the palace. He told her it was difficult to do that. Yulisha thought to herself that if he couldn't do that, she would have to use the spells that protected against curses, which Mimiko had given them. She had hung many curse protectors, but there was only Liza's room left, which was the most important one. She moved to hang a protector on it, but Liza suddenly came out of her room, thinking Crew was outside. She told him she had been waiting for him a lot. Yulisha asked Liza, "Why are you waiting for Crew?" Liza replied, "Because I want him to sneak into my room," which made Yulisha angry, and she told Liza that those weren't the actions of a princess at all. Liza retorted that Yulisha was shouting, and it would wake everyone. Then she asked her, "Are you jealous?" Yulisha responded, "What are you saying? Why would I be jealous?" She told her that Crew was pure and innocent, and that she should have modesty. Liza said, "Okay, now, let's move to Crew," who was in the kitchen, and Liza went to him and asked, "What dishes would you like me to help you with?" Yulisha came in and asked Liza, "What about the modesty I told you about yesterday?" Liza replied to Yulisha, "You've been very noisy since yesterday." Yulisha told Liza to be quiet and asked her how she could wear such revealing clothes. Crew said, "I was surprised too, but Liza told me that these clothes are common in her house as well." Yulisha said, "No, they're not common." Liza replied, "I think you're misunderstanding something." After that, Cinna came to them and asked, "I smell fresh bread?" Crew said to Cinna, "Of course I made an oven so I can prepare fresh bread for everyone every morning," and asked them all to wait in the dining room. He asked them which they preferred, tea or coffee, which greatly surprised Yulisha. Crew prepared lots of food for them, which led everyone to praise that the food was great, but Yulisha asked, "Where's Crew now?" Liza said he had left to do some cleaning and was carrying a cloth, saying that someone had written on parts of the palace and that he would return after cleaning this up. After that, Yulisha rushed to Crew to stop him from erasing the protective spells. When she reached him, he was cleaning the spell on Liza's room and told her it was the last one, which made Yulisha feel disappointed. Crew asked her, "Do you think something happened here?" Yulisha, sitting on the floor, said, "I think it was the work of Skrelinki, who is the schemer people have been talking about lately," which shocked Crew when he heard that name. She told him, "I think he was trying to attract Liza's attention by leaving all these lines." Crew replied, "I understand now, and we need to tell Liza." Yulisha thought to herself that she had succeeded in not revealing that there was a killer attempting to kill Liza, but she didn't have many spells left, and it would take a few days for Mimiko to arrive here. Would she be able to protect her until then? The bishop Tristan told Marlevis that she was expelled because of the party she belonged to, which had only shown many failures and violence towards others, and that its leader was wanted by justice. Marlevis replied to Tristan that she had nothing to do with this matter and that it wasn't her fault. She might have made a mistake when she cast lightning magic in a restaurant in the royal capital, but that was punishment for the restaurant that served them pig-like food. Tristan told her to stop rambling and informed her that what she did brought a bad reputation and would be a disgrace to the Bolin church. Marlevis thought to herself that she had put in more effort than anyone else to raise the church's reputation by joining ordinary adventurers and performing miracles for others. Tristan told her that they indeed valued her magical abilities, and because of that, they hoped to ask her to carry out a simple mission for them. He said they would overlook her trivial sins and grant her the rank of priestess, informing her that this wine was from the Guru Mako Empire, a rival of the Bolin Empire, but that it tasted delicious. He offered it to her, and after that, Marlevis drank it and said to Tristan to ask for whatever he wanted. Tristan told her that they wanted her to help them assassinate the third princess, Lisa, which shocked Marlevis greatly. After that, a curse appeared on Marlevis's body. Tristan informed her that he had forgotten to tell her that this wine contained a physical curse that would make her body unable to handle anything but water, and within a month, she would likely die from starvation. But if she succeeded in her mission, she would be freed from this and promoted to the priesthood. Marlevis said she would dedicate her life to Tristan. He responded that it was good, future priestess. We transitioned to their lodging in the new city. Yalisha told herself that there had been no new changes to Lisa's body after Crow had removed the curse from her. Perhaps none of the enemies had discovered Lisa's location, or there was another reason preventing them from reaching here. Lisa told Crow that the food was very good as usual. Crow responded that there was more if she wanted it. Lisa replied, "Of course." Yalisha wondered to herself if Crow's cooking dispelled curses without them knowing. She thought it couldn't be the reason. Anyway, Mimiko had arrived in the city and set up her network, so if anything moved from their enemies, they would know. When Yalisha tasted the food Crow had brought, she was amazed by its flavor. Afterwards, Lisa told Crow that this cake had a different texture than usual. He told her that he challenged himself one day to make a cake using rice flour. Lisa said that his meals made with rice flour were the best. She informed him that the rice porridge he had made for her some time ago was good, and she added that if she were under the influence of another curse he made for her, she could handle it. Crow replied that he was glad to hear that, but that she shouldn't worry about getting cursed again. This surprised Yalisha and Lisa. Yalisha asked Crow how he could say that with certainty, as she thought he told them it was difficult to create a barrier against curses. Crow confirmed that he indeed couldn't make a barrier against curses, but said that the entire castle was a barrier that reflected curses, so he couldn't create another barrier inside it. Yalisha asked if the whole castle reflected curses. Crow confirmed it but mentioned that he made a slight adjustment. If someone came to cast a curse, it would redirect them. If they let them attack as they were, he would feel bad for the person who accidentally got cursed. Yalisha asked what it meant to be cursed by accident. She thought she should inform Mimiko and the others about this at least. She told them she would be out for a while. Then, Crow asked Lisa if she wanted to go shopping with him, mentioning she didn't set foot outside the workshop since she got here. Lisa said yes. Crow told her that the country was fortified, but the market was full of fresh vegetables. Lisa apologized for not being able to go out today. We shift to the castle, where Generic told Rick that the fog thickened, didn't it? Rick informed Generic that it did. He said he had a bad feeling. Generic asked if he meant a monster attack and told him that the repairs of the walls were supposed to be completed and that he couldn't believe Rick supervised the site work himself. Rick explained that he had no other choice, given the importance of the city. They were concerned about enemy spies infiltrating to work on it. Generic noted that, however, there had been no one like that, and all the walls were well repaired, so he didn't think Rick needed to worry. We transitioned to the villain who wanted to cast a curse on Lisa but faced a barrier built by Crow. Mimiko said they were in this state when they were found. Ophelia believed they failed to cast their curse, and once they decided that, this light would make it easy to track them down. She killed her allies. Yalisha asked if they still glowed even after death. Ophelia responded that he had created a very powerful curse reflector, and that Crow had always cooperated with them, so wouldn't they be able to solve this problem within the day? Yalisha told Ophelia that she hoped she wouldn't do that, and knew it was a little late to ask after involving themselves this much. Still, she didn't want to put that boy in great danger. Mimiko stated she would carry out the remaining investigations alone. Yalisha asked to alert Lisa not to leave the workshop, and she would have Phantom guard the workshop. After that, they heard the alarm sound. We switched to Rick, being informed by the guard about the numerous monsters. Rick then requested to light up the area, and they discovered a large number of skeletons attacking them. We transitioned to Mimiko, who informed them about an attack from a group of skeletons. Yalisha exclaimed that this was unbelievable and asked if they were tracking Lisa. We moved to Rick and Generic, where Rick told the guards after gathering them that he would defend this country until death, and asked Generic to evacuate the city of its citizens. Generic replied that he was also fighting, and they could only rush towards them directly. They narrowed their focus in this area. They could eliminate them. Rick asked what he would do if another enemy was ready to attack and urged him to go protect the people. We switched to Yalisha, informing them that she was going to protect the workshop. But one of Mimiko's assistants approached and handed her a message stating that a large group of skeletons was gathering, and they were moving towards the western wall and disappearing. We then switched to the skeletons passing through the walls with ease, shocking Rick greatly about this situation. Yalisha mentioned the back wall. Yalisha recalled what the Harkwork employee said about Crow repairing those walls and transferred to Generic. Rick asked what was happening to these walls. He told Generic he didn't know, but wondered if it could be that boy. We then switched to Labita, where she is imprisoned with a demon. The demon told her that the first batch of skeletons was lost, but that the second and third batches would use her magical powers to summon them. The demon added that she didn't seem to possess much magic, as the Golden Barrel said, but if she used her soul as fuel, it would be enough to make up the difference, leading Labita to cry. We move to the workshop, and Crew asks about the state of the city now. Yalisha says it's surrounded by monsters from all directions, and if they call for reinforcements, the flying monsters will intervene, so they can't. Liza expresses her concern about everyone in Sakura since they are still missing after leaving to hunt the troll. Yalisha thinks to herself that according to the information they got from Phantom, the monsters are emerging from the ruins of Labita to the west, and it seems the knights are strategizing but can't move. John is extremely cautious. Liza mentions hearing about an attack from skeletons yesterday. Yalisha responds that, of course, the moment they touched the walls, they vanished immediately, and the knights were surprised by this. Crew says it's a very common occurrence. Liza asks if they can make a weapon to defeat all the undead at once. Yalisha thinks to herself that Crew is the one who made these walls, but if they attack the other walls Crew hasn't approached, they won't be able to withstand it. After that, Yalisha tells Crew and Liza that she will go and asks them not to step outside the workshop at all. Liza asks where Yalisha is going. Yalisha says she will go clean up the debris in the west. Crew insists on coming with her, but Yalisha tells him it's too dangerous with so many monsters outside the walls, so she asks him to leave it to her. He agrees and tells her that it's not worth fighting. Then Yalisha leans closer to Crew and whispers that they still have the plan to worry about too, and asks him to stay with Liza. Crew agrees and tells Liza he will stay with her here, which makes her feel happy. Yalisha then leaves and moves to the crystal area and states that this is the solution. We shift to the knights who are preparing for war with the monsters. Yalisha approaches them and asks Rick if he is still holding strong. Rick mentions he heard she moved to the new workshop and asks who the two are. Yalisha introduces Mimiko and Ophelia to Rick. Generic asks if this is the woman who recommended the new artisan master. Rick asks if the workshop belongs to the new princess. Yalisha confirms that Princess Liza is in this city. Rick says he is transforming the soldiers to protect the princess. Mimiko tells Rick not to worry about the princess, her group is protecting her. Yalisha tells Rick she has a plan and wants her men to be bait for the monsters to draw their attention, while she heads to the debris in the west to cut off the source of these monsters. Rick asks if she's going alone, thinking it's very reckless. Yalisha reassures him not to worry, as they have a magical weapon. Rick asks if it's just a magic crystal. Ophelia says its effectiveness can be assured. Rick agrees, but with one condition. He wants to join her in the assault on the debris. Yalisha tells him he, as a general, would think this would protect him more, but Rick tells them that Generic will lead the army in his place and will distract the monsters while he and Yalisha hit the enemy's main base. Generic mentions this is very dangerous, and that he should be the one to join the attack. Rick tells Generic to act as bait since this is an important and risky mission, and if he doesn't do it, who will take command? He then asks for support from Mimiko and Ophelia as well. Mimiko agrees that they will protect the city as well. Rick commands all units to their positions and asks Generic if he is dissatisfied, but states he won't change his strategy. Generic comments that he is always like this and pours them a drink. Rick notes that the cup seems fragrant. Generic tells him it only contains water, and they always drink this as a last farewell. They crush the planets, but this this isn't our farewell drink. They will both survive and return home, after which he will pour the brandy Rick loves into them. Rick agrees and pours his cup. We shift to Crew as he is doing household chores, thinking to himself about the old man back in his hometown who always said to pour your heart into the ironworks and let you reflect on yourself. The blade of Danzu has an incredible edge, and he wonders if he can make one like it. He asks himself what he can do after kicking out the first party when he wasn't useful in the fight. We move to the monsters trying to enter the city. Everyone is on the other side. Yulisha shows them the crystal and tells them that when she throws it, they should close their eyes. When she throws it, it hits one of the skeletons, releasing a bright light that annihilates all the monsters, which astonishes them. We move to the rooftop where Mimiko declares that this magical crystal can purify monsters, demons, and the undead in an instant. Ophelia expresses disbelief that it has such power. We return to Yulisha, urging them to move and seize the opportunity. Then Generic exits the city with the guards to distract the enemy. We shift to Crew as he is making a small sword, thinking to himself that he once thought his rank in blacksmithing was a B rank, but now he believes it might be a C or D. Then Liza approaches Crew and tells him that the rice is ready for dinner. She comes over and asks if he made this. He responds that he did, but he was lost in thought and accidentally infused it with magic. Liza asks if she can see it. He tells her to go ahead and warns her that raising the enchanted blade above her head will activate its spell, so she should be careful with it. He tells her if she likes it, she should keep it. She thanks him. Crew thinks to himself that she forces him to smile and wonders if it's appropriate for him to keep pretending not to notice Liza's true feelings. He tells Liza he wants to ask her something. She encourages him to go ahead. He asks if someone is following her. She confirms that he noticed and admits she feels guilty about it and tells him that both he and Yulisha are having trouble because of her. Crew reassures her that he doesn't consider it a problem at all and doubts Yulisha does either. Liza notes that even now, Yulisha is risking her life and the others to reach the ruins. Crew asks if that place holds the person who is targeting her. She confirms it. Crew thinks to himself that Yulisha told him she was going to clean up, and it reminds him of the past when Glenov used to write on the walls. Crew tried to stop him, saying not to stop him, and that he would write here, Glenov the Great, but Marlefus zapped him to make him stop, bringing him back to the present. Crew remarks that this debris spot is the perfect place for people who love to write on things, and the person following Liza is the planner. He believes that Yulisha went to defeat the planner. Sitting on the ground, he says if he could fight, he would protect her, but he can't protect someone dear to him, which surprised Liza greatly. She asks Crew if she is dear to him. He tells her, of course, Yulisha too, and all the members of Sakura are precious to him. Liza tells him that this is what he meant. Crew responds that he can't believe all he can do is sit and wait. Liza shares she feels the same, but she wishes she could catch the culprit herself. Crew mentions that Liza is like him too, but they shouldn't do nothing anymore, and asks if they should go. Liza points out that the city is surrounded by monsters. He tells her that if the 8 directions don't work, they'll use the 9th, and let's go clean up that debris in the west. We shift to Yulisha in the west and Rick facing monsters from every direction. Lisa grasped the blade made by Kor and recalled his words that pulling it and raising it high would cast a spell. She did exactly that, but nothing happened. After trying to move it several times without any results, she was startled when someone approached her from behind as she headed outside. Meanwhile, Yulisha and Rick were in the ruins to the west, continuing to fight off the skeletons. Yulisha asked Rick where the artifacts were. He replied that they were very close. Yulisha thought to herself that there were many of them, but luckily, they had been distracted by Generic, who had drawn their attention. She mentioned seeing a bright light several times and believed their crystals were starting to run out, and she also noted that the crystals she had were wearing thin. They needed to find the source of the monsters quickly. Afterward, Rick was injured, and Yulisha tried to rush to help him, but she couldn't get through due to the attacking monsters. Thankfully, Cans and his team arrived to defend them, making Yulisha feel happy. Rick asked, "Who are you?" Cans told him they were followers of the new craft trainer in the workshop. Rick replied that this was very good. Sina then told them she had discovered the source of the monsters and informed them they were coming from the building ahead, and the upper part was collapsed. Therefore, they must be inside or underground. Yulisha understood, asking the others to close their eyes and then casting the crystal. After that, they moved toward the building from the front. Cans told Sina that she had seen it from afar, which was good. Sina replied, "I know I said I wouldn't be surprised anymore, but this is impossible." Yulisha threw a potion to Rick and asked him to drink it. Rick asked her if it was a refreshing drink, to which Yulisha replied it was just an ordinary herbal soup. After After that, Rick remarked that his wounds were healing and she called it just ordinary soup. Suddenly, the monsters emerged from the building, and Yulisha almost went toward them, but Cans told her to wait and said they would handle it. Danzu told her they would fend off this enemy and attack the monsters. Sina told Yulisha to be careful. Yulisha replied she would be, thanking her, and Rick said to Yulisha he thought they depended on them. Yulisha affirmed, asking him to start fighting too. They entered the building and encountered a group of monsters, defeating them. Next, we moved to the big monster, who was draining Marvis's power and using it to launch monsters at the warriors. The big monster, after seeing the soldiers using the magical crystal, thought to himself that he should go welcome them personally. Next, we see Yulisha and Rick after they reached the source of the monsters. Yulisha cast the crystal, saying she thought they had eliminated the source. They stepped forward and were faced with the Demon King. Rick asked if this was the one summoning the monsters. Yulisha confirmed that this was indeed the leader they needed to defeat. Yulisha attacked, throwing the crystal at him, but the Demon King was unharmed. He told her that could have been a strong blow if he had an eternal life. Then Rick attacked the Demon King, striking him and injuring him, but the wound immediately healed, leaving them very surprised. We transitioned to Marvis, whose power the Demon King was drawing from. She thought if only she could erase this circle. We returned to the Demon King, who told Yulisha and Rick that he had been watching their fight. He showed them the rest of the warriors amidst the monsters, having many monsters at his side. The Demon King said these soldiers were ready to die for the city. He believed this. Rick replied that none of those soldiers would kneel before a demon like him. The Demon King said he hadn't sent enough monsters and that it was rude of him. He thought he should increase the number of monsters and believed that his knights would summon reinforcements. He wondered if that was a good idea, but he believed those men would end up destroying the gate at least, and the three could also be crushed at the entrance. Then Yulisha and Rick attacked the Demon King with a double strike, cutting off his head, but he held on to it and placed it back on his body as if nothing had happened. He said he would kill all the knights and take Marvis from the village, adding that it might be nice to let them watch as Marvis was torn to pieces. Rick said to Yulisha that she needed to focus more, and killing this thing was the solution to everything. Yulisha thought to herself, how can we overcome him? We cut off his head and heart, yet he remains unharmed. Even the crystals don't affect him. The Demon King told her that look and that expression, they should give up and lose hope. Next, we switch back to Marvis, who said it was over and that she was finished. She couldn't erase the circle and was at her limit with hunger. She wanted to eat anything, even what Kor had cooked. She heard Crow's voice and thought she was hallucinating. Shortly after, a large hole appeared in front of her, and Crow showed up. As he turned around, he said, Marvis? Marvis was surprised to see Crow with the third princess, Lisa. Lisa then asked Crow if he knew this woman. Crow replied, of course. She is from my old party that helped me. Marvis told him she was a former sister, but had been expelled from the Bolin church. She asked Kor if this was the reason for his betrayal of Lisa. Marvis asked Kor if he was pretending to be ignorant. She informed him that it was all because of Bishop Tristan. Kor told her that if she wrote on the walls here and there to vent her frustration, that was why she was expelled from the church. He added that this was also the reason she wrote all around Lisa's room and left such books in the precious artifacts. He told her he couldn't believe she was the one behind the scheme, oh Marvis, and asked what happened to the Marvis who helped him stop Golnova from doing that. Lisa said to Crow that she couldn't believe he was angry on her behalf. Kor replied of course he was angry. He had exposed her to such a terrifying grant. Kor then asked Marvis about Yulisha and told her that she had come here to clean as well. Marvis told him that if he was looking for her, she was upstairs. Kor told Lisa he would go look for Yulisha. Lisa replied, wait, I'm going to search for her. You clean up these scribbles. Kor protested that it was dangerous to leave her alone. Lisa reassured him not to worry because she had the blade he gave her, and the schemer after her was also here. He told her, okay, go look for her. Marvis thought this was unnatural. He allows the princess to go alone while people want her life. Then Kor told Marvis he was going to clean now, and he started cleaning, breaking the circle, which astonished Marvis. We switched to the Demon King, and Rick and Yulisha attacked him with a double strike. Rick noted that he dodged it. The Demon King cursed, wondering what happened. Yulisha told him his wound wasn't healing now. He brought out another crystal, but the Demon King struck Yulisha, causing her to drop her crystal. He told her she could no longer break more stones. After that, Lisa came to them, surprising everyone. When the Demon King saw Lisa, he struck her down, causing her to fall to the ground and lose consciousness, bringing him joy. He said the pact was complete. mocking her for being a foolish princess. Had she stayed in the village, she would have lived longer. Then Lisa transformed into a swarm of butterflies and returned once more, astonishing everyone. The Demon King asked if it was an illusion. Lisa explained that all this happened because of the blade made for her by Kor, the new craftsman. She told him that no one could trick the sword's magic. Elisha wondered to herself if Kor really made this blade. The Demon King aimed another strike at Lisa, but she transformed again into butterflies, and Lisa appeared once more before him, saying, "You said I couldn't break many stones." She then told him to get ready and smashed a stone, causing the Demon King to scream. We switched to Kor, who asked what that sound was. He thought someone was screaming. Marlvis asked if they really defeated him. She said if the summoner disappeared, the monsters he summoned would vanish too. Indeed, all the monsters in every area disappeared. After that, Elisha asked Lisa why she was there. "I told you to stay in the workshop," she said. Lisa replied that she had to do something and couldn't hide the entire time. Elisha said she thought she was dead. Lisa apologized, and Elisha told her not to apologize. She saved them, right, Rick? Rick confirmed, "Of course, that's true." He told Lisa that if it weren't for her help, they would be dead now, and he owed her forever. Lisa replied not to mention it. She appreciated their struggle and the wounds on their bodies. She knew how hard they had worked, and she should thank them for protecting her in the city, promising to bring them a reward. Rick said he did what anyone would do, but if Lisa wanted to reward him, he would like some to drink with his friends. Lisa said, "All right, you will receive the." They moved to Kor, and Marlavis said to herself, "What an odd disappearance of the circle, but I will die of hunger, and my curse hasn't vanished yet." However, Kor offered food to Marlavis, and afterward, she began eating. She thought she would gag on the food due to the curse, but the opposite happened. It turned out that her curse had been lifted, and she discovered that all this power came from Kor, who had been protecting them with his strength all this time. She started crying and said they had never realized this and had taken his kindness for granted. She apologized to Kor, and he told Marlavis it was good that she learned from the lesson and informed her that all the scribbles had disappeared now. Then, Elisha and Lisa came to them, and two twins appeared. Kor asked, "Who are these?" Lisa explained that they were men who came to arrest the wanted criminal. They grabbed Marlavis, and Kor told her, "I'll bring you the grape bread you love when you visit in prison, and make sure to repent for your crimes." Lisa asked Kor if he was done cleaning. He replied yes, and asked if she had hurt herself anywhere. She said she was fine and gave Elisha some of her medicine to help her get better too. Elisha thought to herself, "I can't believe these two saved my life. They're truly a princess and a craftsman." She grabbed him and said, "Come on, let's go home." After that, they walked home. He also mentioned that he now had friends to return with, and friends waiting for him at home, as well as friends protecting the house. He said he was very happy. Next, they moved to a feast for all the fighters and soldiers. Kor was amazed by how they ate and asked if he brought something different to eat. Rick replied to Kor, "No one is responding to you because they are focused on the food and good wine," which made Kor very happy. Then, Lisa introduced Crow to Rick, explaining he was the captain of the knights and managed the city. Kor, surprised, asked, "Are you the general of this city?" He replied, "Of course, I used to be the head worker as well." Kor asked him, "What do you think? Do you like this city?" Crow said, "Of course, it's nice, and everyone here is good, and the vegetables are really great. I'm sure all of this is because of your good management." Then Generic came and warned Crow, "Don't be fooled. The general is lousy at management." Rick chimed in, hitting Generic afterward, and said to Kor, "Margraf Tychon helps cover for what I fall short on." After that, some fireworks appeared for the celebration. Then Generic and Rick said their wounds were healed. Kor replied, "That's good. They say after a person eats healthy food, all their wounds heal." Finally, they moved to Margraf Tychon, who was tied up. A girl was with him and was keeping watch. Kor was asleep in the carriage, dreaming about when he was young. He met a girl named Hildy, who didn't talk to anyone because her father had told her not to speak to anyone from the village. But after ignoring Kor for a while, she started talking to him and felt comfortable around him. They went to the forest together. When they arrived, Hilda ran quickly and ate a poisonous berry, then fell to the ground. Kor ran to her and made a medicine to save her from death, drinking some of it himself before putting it in her mouth. Then we returned to the carriage, and Kor wakes up from his dream. After that, they went to the village that had requested their help to investigate their problems. The problem was a significant shortage of water, which could lead to the death of the crops. Many villages nearby had water channels close to them, but they had tried to negotiate with them, but they refused. That's why they sought their help to solve this problem. After that, Ulysia went to Danzo, while the others stayed on the hill trying to solve the water problem. But Ulysia went to the neighboring village to negotiate with them about solving the issue as well. However, they were also crying there because of the water shortage. Then two villagers came, upset, wanting Ulysia to solve this problem. Then Ulysia went to Cans and Sina and found a large lake. She discovered that that Kor had created this lake because the birds were thirsty, and he had brought this lake from the groundwater beneath the land. The villagers were delighted and thanked Ulysses, believing she had solved the problem, which surprised Kor because she helped the villagers. Then they went back to their village, taking some gifts with them and giving them eggs, which would be used to prepare food for them upon their return. Then we move on to Prince Tychon. Liza was a guest of the prince, and Alaric was with her to present a report on the monster attacks. They were given a lot of good food. Liza was there not as a princess, but as a representative of the master craftsman. However, Prince Tychon was a duke who relied on others for his funding, and he was cunning and malicious. However, Prince Tychon tried to extract some information about the stones they used to kill the monsters. He wanted to know more about the new master craftsman, but he couldn't, and Liza refused to give him any information so that Kor wouldn't become a target for Tychon. Then Tychon told them that the country they were currently in didn't have a name yet, and whoever named the country would be its deputy. It was difficult to choose a deputy because the border town was the closest town to the demon lands, and a deputy had to be selected for it. He believed that the appropriate deputy was the new master craftsman, but if this happened, Kor would appear publicly. However, since Kor was not known to them, they couldn't take this action without everyone's approval. But since Liza was the representative of the new master craftsman, she should have the authority to agree to appoint the new master as deputy of the country and make decisions and agreements between the two countries. And since Kor had saved many knights in the last battle, the knights wouldn't have any problem if he was their deputy, which led to Alaric's immediate approval. Liza tried to object to this, but Tychon felt that the master craftsman might have many flaws, but Liza denied this, saying he wasn't just the best person in the country but in the whole world. It was agreed to appoint Kor as deputy of the country, which made Tychon very happy because of this agreement. Then we moved to Kor's house, where Liza and Ulysses were talking about what had happened. Liza apologized to Ulysses for her mistake, but they wanted a solution to the problem of having someone else pretend to be the master craftsman. But everyone knew that Kor was the real master, and they didn't think anyone could take Kor's place because he was so great. Then Ulysses told her that Kor was taking care of the eggs he received as a gift from the village where he solved the water problem. The eggs were about to hatch, and he was taking care of them now, which was expected of him because he was a kind person, and he gave his attention to these eggs because he was waiting for a water bird, but it was difficult for this to happen these days. Then we move on to Mimiko and Ophelia. Mimiko was feeling very tired because she had received a series of reports regarding the existence of the late Tristan Meta in the Boulogne church, but it was possible that Tristan had been assassinated to sell his soul to the king of demons, and he was being summoned and turned into a scapegoat through the Boulogne church, and the one who was involved in this was Ada Marlevis, but they haven't killed her yet because of Kor's visit to her. Then a paper fell to Mimiko from above, and it contained a message for Mimiko. Then we move on to Kor after the eggs hatched, but a new girl was born from the eggs instead of water birds, which surprised everyone. They moved inside the house and continued to look at the girl. This girl seemed old, not a newborn, and she was about 3 years old, and she was born at this age. The little girl called Kor father, which surprised everyone again. But this girl couldn't have been born from eggs, and she might not be a normal person, and she could also be a monster, and used her magic to disguise herself so that they wouldn't be wary of her evil, and this girl could kill them all. Ulysses took the girl to kill her so that she wouldn't harm them, but Kor tried to stop her and asked Ulysses that he wanted to raise this girl. But Ulysses was against this, but the child grabbed Ulysses and called her Mom, which surprised Ulysses greatly. Ulysses imagined marrying Kor because the child called them Mom and Dad. Liza snatched the girl from Ulysses, and the child called Liza Mom too, which made Liza lose her balance and drop the girl from her hands until Sina saved the girl before she fell to the ground. When Ulysses went to grab the girl, Can stopped her and told her that he would raise the child in their party, and she would be a good child among them. Everyone agreed to this, even Ulysses agreed. After that, they chose a name for the girl, but it was difficult to do so. They thought deeply because she called Kor Dad and called Ulysses and Liza Mom, so they wanted to merge their names to name the child, which led to a quarrel between Ulysses and Liza over choosing a name for the child, which made the child wake up from sleep. When the child called them, they went to her and held the child's hand, which created affection between them, and none of them objected to their name being at the end or the beginning of the name. Kor discovered that this girl had a special condition, which was that she brought people together, reconciled them, and created affection between them. Then they chose the name Akuri, which means edge, and it is the area that connects the 3 points, which made the girl happy to know her new name. Then we moved to the night. One of Mimiko's guards came and received a strand of hair and saliva from Akuri from Ulysses to examine it and find out everything about her. Then the next day, a children's room was designed for Akuri with many many toys for children. Sina played with Akuri, but Akuri couldn't leave this room until Ulyssia received a response from Mimiko about her. While Sina was taking care of Akuri, Akuri went to Kor and Ulyssia and asked them to come with them, but Kor didn't allow her because he was going to the workers and shouldn't take her with him. Akuri heard Kor's words and told him that she would wait with Sina. Then we move on to Ulyssia and Akuri, who were on their way to work. They agreed to go and come back quickly to play with Akuri. Then they stopped in the carriage because they heard a strange sound. They looked inside the carriage and were surprised to find Akuri inside. She jumped on Kor and grabbed him, and she came with them by jumping inside the carriage. It was possible that there was an entrance in the carriage that she was able to sneak through. While Sina was looking for her in her room, she was with Kor and Ulyssia. While they were talking about how to return Akuri to the workshop, one of Mimiko's guards came to them and impersonated another person so that Kor wouldn't recognize her, and she came to deliver the data that Ulyssia wanted to know about Akuri. Then Ulyssia returned to him and told him that no one knew how things would turn out in the end, but they had to make an effort to make things end well. Then a man appeared to them and told them that it was good that they had come now, and that they should defeat the King of Demons. They told him, "We will do our best," which surprised Ulyssia from Akuri's enthusiasm. Then Ulyssia stopped Kor and Akuri because this wasn't what they came for. The customer who had requested Ulyssia and Kor's help arrived and told them that this old man was her father-in-law and that he was talking nonsense. Then she thought they were a couple on the same mission with their daughter, which surprised her and caused Ulyssia and Kor to be annoyed at the same time. Kor thought to himself that this would make Ulyssia very angry because of this. Also, Akuri called Ulyssia Mama, which made Ulyssia feel shocked. Then Kor asked the customer what she wanted from them. The customer told them about the problem with the pigs on their farm refusing to eat their feed. Kor thought this was because of the hot weather and that they were suffering from some heat exhaustion. He told her he would bring some feed to help relieve the heat exhaustion, which surprised the customer that Kor could make feed like that. That's why she turned to them. She told him that now she would take her father for a walk and asked them to take care of the matter. Kor agreed to this and said goodbye to the customer. Kor then approached Ulyssia to see if she was still angry or not, but she was still in shock over the matter because the customer thought they were a newlywed couple, which also shocked Kor a lot. Ulyssia was still thinking about it. Kor then poured some of the new feed into the pig's feeding trough and put some other things on it, which led the pigs to start eating. But on the other side, Ulyssia kept thinking about the matter and was being looked at as Kor's wife despite the difference in height and age. It also would not be strange if they had a child. She felt very annoyed but wanted to stop thinking about it. Then Ulyssia felt pain in her chest until a flying dragon came towards Kor and Akuri. Ulyssia drew her sword and attacked the dragon, but Kor stopped Ulyssia and told her to hide her sword until the dragon landed and started eating. This is a rural custom where dragons appear normally and take their share of the food when livestock feed is brought, which amazed Ulyssia. Akuri asked if it was a big dog, but Kor explained to her that this was a small dragon. After that, Ulyssia smelled blood and started following the scent. She searched for it and then found one of Mimiko Mita's followers among the flowers. Kor heard sword clashing and approached the sound to check on Ulyssia. Then one of the villains appeared to him. Ulyssia stood in front of them and asked Kor to stay away from here and take Akuri with him. Then the evil girl requested the flower, which made Ulyssia ask about it. Then the dragon grabbed Kor and flew high, which made Ulyssia feel reassured and was impressed by Kor taming the dragon in such a short time. Ulyssia then attacked the villain, but the villain was very strong and struck Ulyssia down. The villain approached Ulyssia and almost killed them, but Ulyssia dodged the strike and backed away. Ulyssia asked the villain who she meant by the girl, the dragon, or Akuri. The villain told her this would not help because she was going to die now. Then the villain attacked Ulyssia and dealt a blow that caused a deep wound, making her collapse on the ground. While the villain was approaching Ulyssia to finish her off, Ulyssia threw a magical crystal at the villain and thought she had gotten rid of her because of this. But the villain reappeared with horns, which surprised Ulyssia. She realized that this villain was originally a demon and one of the natural enemies of humans. Ulyssia wondered why she was here because no demons had appeared to humans in past centuries. Then the demon was dispersed due to her special transformation spell, and they had defeated the Demon King. This surprised Ulyssia that she was a follower of the Demon King and had come to take revenge on them. Ulyssia then discovered that she had come for revenge against the Demon King and meant by the girl Kor, not the dragon. She tried to look for any weapons she had, but she ran out and wished Kor had returned to the city since this was a short trip with the dragon and that everyone there would protect him. Then Kor returned again. He was soaring on the dragon's back, shouting at Ulyssia, which annoyed Ulyssia because of his return. She thought, he will fight with the dragon, but maybe he can't. Then the dragon threw Kerr from above, causing him to fall to the ground, and Ulyssia asked Kerr, "Why did you come back?" Then a group of pigs appeared, running fast, and they wrote on them. Yulisha asked about Akuri, but Kur reassured her about Akuri and told her she was in a safe place. Then Yulisha asked Kur again, "Is it common in his village for people to fight while riding a dragon with someone much stronger than them?" Kur said, "Of course not, and it's the first time I've done something so reckless, but this shows that I am protecting a woman dear to me, and this is the clear path of my work." Yulisha realized and told herself that what Kur meant by a woman dear to him was that she is his friend or ally, but this made her feel sad and happy at the same time, and she kept wondering why she constantly thought about what Lisa does and why her chest hurt every time. She had to admit it, she was falling in love with Kur. Suddenly, they were hit by a strong fire strike from the villain. Yulisha used Kur's dagger for help and told him not to move from there. She told him not to worry and stepped toward the villain. The villain threw a fireball at Yulisha, and Yulisha wanted to split this attack with the magic cutter to nullify it, but when she did, she failed. Then Akuri appeared over Yulisha, which surprised everyone and stopped the attack. Yulisha wondered if it was because of Akuri or because the attack failed. Then the villain fled. Yulisha tried to follow but fell to the ground due to her injury. Kur gave Yulisha medicine so she could heal. Yulisha was amazed by Akuri's presence and asked where she came from. Kur thought she had appeared suddenly as if she used the instant teleportation crystal. Yulisha started thinking about it. This crystal could be used for instant teleportation between places where teleportation stones are placed, but Akuri had teleported without any teleportation stone. Then Yulisha asked Akuri if she could teleport again or fly or do such a thing, but Akuri told her she couldn't. She said she jumped and then appeared. Kur discovered that the pigs were in poor condition and that he needed to restore them. Then the customer returned and felt happy about the pigs. She thanked Yulisha and asked about her husband, which surprised Yulisha again. She told her he went to greet some nearby farmers. Then the story shifts to Kur. The dragon informed him that something happened, and Kur asked the dragon to go to the place immediately. Then we moved to Yulisha, returning with Akuri. Yulisha asked Akuri if she could launch a fireball, but Akuri couldn't. The villain thought she was the one who cancelled the fireball because of Akuri's presence. The villain paled when she looked at them because she was trying to protect Akuri from the attack. The villain was revealed to want a lot of information about the villain and Akuri, and whether Akuri used instant teleportation magic. Then Kur arrived with the villain on the dragon and told her what happened in the past. He said he went looking for her and found her lying on the ground, but she was still alive. Then he prepared medicine for her and told her he did this because she cancelled the spell that almost killed Akuri and Yulisha, which was enough reason to save her. Then he threw the medicine to her to swallow. When she swallowed the medicine, she stood immediately but fell to the ground again because Kur had put a sedative in the medicine since he was afraid of her. This would make her sleep for 3 days, because it's wrong to attack a dragon connected to a human, and wrong to hurt that human as well. This surprised the villain, and Kur told her she was different from Hildegard, but she almost attacked him before losing consciousness. Then he returned to his capital and told Yulisha what happened. Then they moved to the house and returned, but the villain was tied up so she wouldn't attack them. Kur told Akuri that everyone was worried about her and that she should apologize to them. Then she went to Sina and Lisa, and they welcomed her back to them. Once again, she was very happy. Then a person appeared who did not know any of Yulisha or Kur and welcomed them. Lisa then introduced him as the new master of the artisan craftsman, which led to Yulisha's astonishment and Kur's feeling of happiness. Then the new teacher introduced himself, claiming to be Rikudo. Then Kur introduced him as well, and the new teacher thanked Kur for building him his special workshop, asking him to continue supporting it. However, Yulisha felt something strange and asked Kur to go prepare food, asking Sina to take care of Akuroni. After that, Rikudo approached her strangely, but Yulisha struck him, causing her foot to pass through Rikudo's body, and she discovered he wasn't human. Lisa was behind this, having done it using Kur's blade, creating an illusion that wasn't real. Lisa had made the illusion resemble Kur at the age of 20. After he vanished, Yulisha received a message from Mimiko, informing them that she would come in 3 days to update them on the investigation regarding Akuroni. Next, we moved to the workshop where Mimiko informed them that the investigations had not shown anything, leading to their astonishment. She explained that she had conducted some inquiries using hair and saliva samples, which matched human samples perfectly, but they discovered a faint trace of a substance resembling magical crystals from her. Nails specifically, crystals of space transportation magic, which was impossible to exist in humans. This left Kur very surprised. However, Mimiko had records indicating that space transportation magic was used in the world of creation, but now it was an extinct magic. No one used it, and it existed in the distant past. This was the magical material they discovered on Akuroni's body, and Kur asked if Akuroni was a monster. Mimiko couldn't confirm this, saying she had no idea what this girl was because she acted like a human but was not human, and she felt terrified of having a being like Akaroni in the workshop. She offered to use sealing magic on Akaroni so she couldn't use space transportation magic again, and suggested keeping her in Mimiko's research lab. Kur strongly refused, and Mimiko asked why Kur was so adamant about this and wanted to inquire why he refused. Then, Kur asked Mimiko if she felt afraid of him. However, she didn't feel fear because he hadn't attacked her. He was like a friend she trusted, and that was why Kur refused, saying it didn't matter if he felt safe with someone whether they were human or not. Then he told her that this girl went straight to the Dragon Slayer because she was worried about him still being asleep. She had a kind heart, and he didn't feel fear when he was with her, insisting she stay with them and wouldn't let anyone take her. Yulisha agreed with Kur in this conversation because she also saved her life once. Since Mimiko couldn't find evidence that Akaroni was a monster, she wouldn't be one of those enemies either. Lisa also clarified that she trusted Akaroni a lot. After that, Mimiko told them to take good care of her, and that she now wanted to talk about the Dragon Slayer they had captured, asking where she was. Mimiko headed to the Dragon Slayer's location, but Kur stopped her, asking her not to send the Dragon Slayer to prison. However, Mimiko considered her as one of the demons, and said they received a worse punishment than prison. Then she moved there and injected her, awakening the Dragon Slayer. Mimiko asked her to talk with her for a bit, but the Dragon Slayer said that warriors speak only when necessary, which led Mimiko to discover that she was a demon fighter, speaking this way as part of her warrior persona, not because it was her way since childhood. Then a huge amount of fire erupted, but Mimiko was unaffected and told her it was very vast, although there was a seal barrier around this room. She asked if she had any allies outside, but the Dragon Slayer didn't answer her, telling Mimiko that the loser answers the victor's questions, and Kur was the one who won against her, so she would answer his questions. After that, Kur and Lisa came to them, and when Kur approached the Dragon Slayer, he asked how she was, but she was furious about her restraints. He apologized for not being able to free her before she answered his questions. Then the Dragon Slayer pronounced the name Hild, which astonished Kur, and Yulisha wondered who this girl was, saying she was the daughter of a merchant who came to Kur's village when she was little to play with him. She also had horns, which made her think they knew each other. Then the Dragon Slayer asked Kur if Hild wore the griffin emblem. Kur began to remember that she indeed wore that emblem. Then the Dragon Slayer asked Kur to save Hild with her, telling him that Hild was held beneath Tychon's castle, shocking everyone. Kur couldn't believe that Tychon did this, and he told Yulisha they had to rescue Hild quickly, but Yulisha wasn't sure if the Dragon Slayer was telling the truth. She urged him to calm down and asked if she wanted to save Hild, why she targeted Akaroni. Kur was amazed that she aimed for Akaroni, not the dragon, but she was investigating Tychon's goals, and Tychon was investigating their matter. Then the girl suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and by using her power, she could save Hild. Kur thought she was telling the truth, but Yulisha told him there was no evidence of this, and Kur asked her for solid proof, which she demonstrated using the necklace she wore that resembled Hild's necklace. She had stopped her spell when she saw the emblem on the dagger, and this dagger belonged to Kur, which he received from Hild. Then Mimiko asked her to stay here until they rescued Hild, and if she escaped or died, they would stop trying to rescue her. Mimiko asked Kur to tell her that. Then Kur promised the Slayer that he would rescue Hild. The Dragon Slayer introduced herself as Sulfur, and Kur got excited and went to greet her. But then Akaroni suddenly appeared in front of them, astonishing them a lot. Kur stepped closer to Mimiko again and asked her what they were doing to rescue Hild, but Mimiko reassured him that it had become all their problem, not just his. Then they went back to the workshop again, and Mimiko presented them with a map of Tychon's castle, telling them several things about Tychon and about his wife who died, stating that his daughter also passed away last year. There was one room in the palace that no one entered except Tychon, but they saw him carrying food to that room. Sulfur had tried to open that room before but couldn't. Mimiko's guards also tried but couldn't either, and they told her that opening it would take a long time, even if a treasure hunter expert tried. Then Lisa made a suggestion that if they could not open it, they should make Tychon the one who opens it for them, creating a fictitious thief and sending it to that room. They could make it seem like it was using magic to pass through the walls and enter, leaving Tychon no choice but to open the room himself. Mimiko pondered how to deceive Tychon, and Lisa suggested that Rikudo should handle this task. She told them that Tychon would have a festival for 3 days in his city next week, and they would go there under the guise of tourism to meet the new workshop instructor. Yulisha asked about Kur, saying it was hard to leave him alone with Sulfur. Lisa suggested they take Kur with them, as she would tell them that they were going to study the local market during the festival, so he could learn what was trending in their country and what the goods were quality-wise. When the opportunity arose, they would rescue Hild. They agreed on this, and Lisa also suggested they would execute the attack on the third day, keeping the soldiers occupied so they could study the market on the first and second days. They made a bet between them on who would go with Kerr first, and Lisa won on the first day, making Mimiko and Sulfur feel disgusted by them. Then they moved to the carriage and headed towards Taikon's castle. Rikuto asked, "Are you also coming, Aruki?" But Kerr told him he had asked her to watch the workshop with everyone, including Sakura, and he was sorry about this, stating it was related to Hild. However, Rikuto didn't object, noting that since a noble was imprisoning women, and as a member of the royal family, he couldn't tolerate this, which surprised Kerr that Rikuto was from the royal family. This greatly bothered Lisa, but Rikuto asked Kerr to keep the secret among them. They then moved to their accommodation, and Rikuto went to greet some nobles. Yulisha asked Kerr to take good care of Akaroni and Lisa tomorrow because she was going to investigate Taikon. Kerr offered to help Yulisha, but Lisa stopped him from doing so, saying he was going with her to the festival tomorrow to study the market, which was an important task. He shouldn't leave Akaroni and should enjoy the festival with her father. Kerr was convinced by Lisa's words that he should make Akaroni happy, so he would stay with them. The next day the festival began, and they were having a great time. Lisa told Kerr that they were selling cactus without thorns, and it was a unique product. When it's cut open, very sweet water spills out. Then they ordered 2 of them, but Kerr didn't buy one for himself. Instead, Akuri gave Kerr part of her share, then he returned the rest to her. Lisa also gave Kerr part of her share, and when he drank it, Lisa felt overjoyed. After he gave her back her cactus, she quickly drank from it and put it in her bag. Kerr thought about getting rid of it after they were done, but Lisa was upset by this thought and asked Kerr if it was too expensive to just throw away. But Lisa told him that it was a fruit not found in her city, so she wanted to keep it. Then they went back to enjoying the festival again. This wasn't Kerr's first time attending festivals, but before, he used to guard the stable carts and party equipment, even though he wanted to go and enjoy the festival. That's why he wants Akuri to enjoy herself. Then Lisa grabbed Kerr's hand and told him that they would all enjoy the festival together to make up for the other times he missed out. Then Kerr went to a balance game and succeeded, winning a quantity of red beans, which surprised the seller. Then they continued to enjoy various things, playing, eating, and also buying. Then they moved to a park, and Lisa was preparing to tell Kerr about her love, and that this was the right time, after he had enjoyed himself. Then Lisa approached, about to confess to him, but Kerr was busy looking at the Taikon Palace and remembered saving Hild. Lisa felt that he was worried about Hild, but he wasn't worried because everyone had promised to rescue Hild, and he was confident in them and not worried. But he felt pain because he couldn't do anything about it. But Lisa told him that he had freed her from her curse and built a wonderful workshop. In addition, everyone enjoys the food he cooks. But Kerr believes that anyone could do what he does in his place. But Lisa knew in her heart that it would be difficult for anyone else to do that. Then she told him that she was infatuated with him, which surprised him. She also told him that she wasn't the only one who loved him, and told him that everyone loved him. She told him that Rakata, being a member of the royal family, had a duty to save Hild. But that didn't matter because they all loved him and wanted to help him, so they also wanted to save Hild for him, and that they were doing this because they loved him, not for the workshop, which made Kerr cry. Kerr told her that he loved them all, so he also wanted to be helpful to everyone. Then Lisa agreed with him that since they loved each other, they should work together and do the parts they could do together. Then Akuri called out to Kerr because she was hungry, but Lisa saw that this was a good opportunity to confess to him, and maybe things would turn out differently than planned, but she saw Kerr's smile and would be content with that. Then she approached him again and took his hands.